Go.
I hope this isn't boring to you at all, Mrs. Brawne. I know I have a tendency to rattle on.
Please continue, Mrs. Dick. We are most interested.
Oh, there's a sister, too. Fanny's also her name.
Oh!
She's a baby of the Keats family, although she is 15. She's still in the charge of Mr. Abbey, who was appointed the children's guardian and trustee of the modest inheritance left to them by their grandmother. His house in Walthamstow is comfortable enough. He keeps a carriage and 4 indoor servants. But Fanny's very unhappy and confined there, poor young thing. By all accounts, Mrs. Abbey is as old-fashioned and abstinent as their husband, and so ignorant she cannot sign her name.
And the third brother?
Well, that would be Tom, the youngest boy. He's alone now in the lodgings he shares in Wellwalk with John. It's on his behalf that I'm so worried about his brother's absence.
Is he a wild young man, likely to fall into bad ways while his brother's away?
Far from it, I'm afraid. The poor young man's very ill with consumption. He's never been strong, but lately he's been very ill indeed. And my husband doubts that he'll ever recover.
Then his brother should not have gone off to Scotland and left him.
Well, indeed, he hesitated most anxiously, but Tom insisted. It was a wonderful opportunity for him to travel and enlarge his experience. He wants to be a poet, you see. There's already published 2 volumes of verse. Mr. Dilke has great faith in his future. But Tom, poor young man, is haunted by the notion he's holding his brother back. It was as much to please him that in the end John agreed to go. But I know he's worried. He's promised to keep in touch with us all the while.
Has the unfortunate young man a comfortable lodging?
Yes, in Wellwalk, with Mrs. Bentley, the postman's wife. She's a sensible, motherly woman with a brood of red-headed children of her own. Both she and her husband have always been good to the Keats boy. She'll let me know if anything goes wrong.
It's a terrible complaint.
That it is. Mrs. Keats, the boy's mother, succumbed to it quite young.
And so did my husband. Only 32 he was, and a vigorous man until he was struck down. We were such a happy family. It's a big responsibility for a woman to be left alone with 3 young children to rear and to launch into life.
Well, I can see how excellently you have managed.
We've managed well enough so far, but who knows what problems may still be in store.
Oh, is that a letter, dear?
Why, yes, Maria. It's from Mr. Charles Brawne.
Who?
My dear sir,
What shall I write about? Suppose I begin with myself. And by way of variety, I must bring in Mr. Keats. Then, be it known, in the first place, we are in as continued a bustle as an old dowager at home, always moving from one place to another. Oh, the misery of coming to the meeting of 3 roads without a finger post. Here's an old woman coming. God bless her, she'll tell us all about it. She can't speak English. Repeat the name of the town over in all ways but the true spelling way, and perhaps she may understand. No, we have not got the brogue. Then toss up heads or tails for right or left, and fortune send us the right road. Ah, here's a soaking shower coming. Ye God! It rolls through the mountains as if it would drown us. At last we come, wet and weary, to the long wished-for end. I am waiting here to see Mr. Keats off in a smack for London. He caught a cold in the island of Brawne, which, far from leaving him, has become worse. And the physician here believes him too thin and feeble to proceed on our journey. It is a cruel disappointment. Alas, I shall have to travel through Persia and all the counties round in solitude. But my disappointment is nothing to his. He not only loses my company, and that's a great loss, but he loses the country. Poor Charles Brawne will have to trudge by himself